The landscape of media has changed. At one point in time, there was nothing but newspapers. Then there was the TV news. But now, everybody's online, telling this and telling that, giving information, misinformation, misguiding people. So I guess I got to change with the time because everybody has. Welcome back to Everybody Has A, or Everyone Has A. And this is the our Elite 8th edition. So we're going to start with the ladies first, as we're getting ready for the postseason for volleyball and soccer. But before we get into that, a little golf shout out. Golf will be at State this week up in, I think it's Serville, Tennessee. That's where they have beautiful scenery. You can go out there camping and all that good stuff. Have a beautiful golf course. And we have at least one athlete going up there, Allie Westmoreland from Millington Central High School, the senior. She joins her brothers Andrew and Matthew in going to State. They have a great legacy. So the Westmorelands, and we'd like to send a shout out to Derek Westmoreland. He's the lead pastor at the First Baptist Church out there in Millington. Wonderful family overall. So they got something else to celebrate. She'll be heading up there this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this Thursday and Friday, the 9th and the 10th. So congratulations, Allie, and all the golfers who are heading to State. And now we're getting into the postseason for our girls' team competitions. So soccer, we got a chance to see TRA a couple times this week. Well, I did. You got a chance to see him once. I've been saying I had to get out there and see Peyton Biggs, the TRA junior superstar. Was it worth the hype? Did she live up to the hype I've been giving her?
Yes,
okay.
She's worth the hype, but I was not in the mood to listen to you hype her up because it was Millington. And
yeah.
You know I'm a Trojan. Because was it Coach who asked me who I rooted for? Who asked me? Somebody asked me who I was rooting for.
Was it from the TRA side or the Millington side?
I think it was TRA.
Oh, that's Coach Sanfratello, the athletic director.
Oh yeah, Coach Sanfratello. I was like Millington. I have to be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna ride
with
for my
Trojans.
Okay. Lady Trojans, yeah. Trojans, the boys. It don't matter. I'm going to, be rooting for them no matter what.
Well, they showed up. Tamia Dover got the PK in, and Alexis Williamson kicking every long shot in the world. They just didn't connect this time.
I think they got a second one. Was it Amy?
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Amy,
So 2 goals, but Peyton scored 5 by herself. So
she's good. I'll say that she's good.
Yeah, the girl is phenomenal. She can dance around the ball. But this is what I'm most impressed by Peyton this year. She played a lot of midfield. She sacrificed a lot of points. She could have been striker this whole time, but Coach Sinis moved her to the midfield so she can be maximized as a weapon on defense and offense, controlling the tempo, getting other players involved. And it was a little bittersweet out there at Rosemark this week because they won't be going to the postseason because travel engagements that their players had. They won't have enough to compete in the postseason.
Mission trip.
Yeah, so and things like that. So they pretty much got their 4 seniors honored this week with 3 wins. First win over FACS, which you'll see in a second. Then they beat Brighton, another area rival, and they took care of Millington. So we want to send a shout out to Mary Pence, who in battling an ACL injury couldn't get out there and play. But Coach did get her a chance to go out there and goalie to end her career as a Lady Rebel. Lola Sprinkle, who's known more primarily for softball, so we'll be seeing her later on in the spring. She's phenomenal there. Great defensive player. Tori Davidson is another player who's played since the 8th grade for the Lady Rebels. So she got a chance to close out her career on a victorious way. And Sadie Griffin, who joined the team, I think, a couple of years ago, and was a 2-year starter. So that quartet, they got a proper send-off. But the Lady Trojans and the Brighton Lady Cardinals, those going to be the 2 main teams to watch out.
Also, that game was, really sad. And, I'm not one to cry when other people are crying unless they're grown men. So when I saw Coach crying, oh my goodness, it took everything in me not to tear up because I hate it was so sad. And then everybody's crying everywhere. Everybody's crying, the whole entire team. Not a single person is dry-eyed. Everybody's crying, and it's oh my gosh, I'm about to start crying.
Well, like Coach Sinis said, those girls have been very important to that team for a long period of time. So to see that era come to an end, it was definitely bittersweet. But they got a chance to send them out victorious. And let's check out some highlights from both games this week from the Lady Rebels.
Fresh new styles, Jack Blood on the beat.
Can't crave a little bit, Lady B time.
And we're back with our second segment. It's football recap time. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty in football. It's October, so most teams got 3, maybe 4 games left. So we got to get ready for November. So it's time for to shake up the seedings and your region and all that. Mm-hmm. So the best team on paper, the best team so far play-wise, made their way to Millington and Region 8-4A, the Haywood Tomcats. They lived up to the hype. 44-0 over Millington. What was your impression?
I don't know. It was just, I just, like I said, I just had hope that Millington could score, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like Haywood was just bigger, faster, tougher. It's kind of like...
Well, Coach Michael's roster at Millington has nearly 50 underclassmen on it. When I say underclassmen, I'm not talking about juniors. I'm talking about sophomores and freshmen. Mm-hmm. So they're young. Your sophomore quarterback is hurt. Cole Hawkins didn't play, so you replace him with a freshman. John Thomas did a great job. That young man is a terrific athlete. He's going to be okay when it's all said and done. Mm-hmm. He can put him all over the field. And once he matures, oh my goodness, he's going to be scary. But he looked like a 14, 15-year-old.
I feel like they learned from their mistakes, though. I don't feel like Haywood had all day to throw. Like Kirby had so much time to step all the way back, especially be like, oh, he's right there, he's right there, he's right there. Oh my goodness, they're celebrating a birthday party over there. Okay, let's throw the ball. Like that's that's kind of how it went at Kirby.
You're not exaggerating.
So I think they learned from their mistake, and they actually was like.
But here's the next lesson they gotta learn. Haywood his little short passes, and they went for 60. They'll see the highlights.
Yeah.
So. They're athletes who are like grown men, like track stars, look like they should be playing in college now.
They were fast.
Yeah.
Haywood was fast. I'm just like lightning. Like
it's not that Millington beat themselves. Haywood executed. They just and we gotta give a shout out to number 1, Caden Harris, skinny, slender receiver, quick, just slides through the routes and all those kind of things. He's just slippery, slick, fast. Mm-hmm. But the guy, if this was a game of Clue. And we had to find out who put Millington down. The Butler did it. Jalen Butler, number 2. The young man was phenomenal.
Yeah, actually, Haywood was really good. Like they played well, and I feel like the only kind of chance Millington had of scoring was off of mistakes. They had 2 interceptions.
Trey Wampler got that interception.
I'm telling you, oh my goodness, if he did not stumble,
I think he's surprised he intercepted.
I think it's also because he's like a lineman, right? He's on the line. He's on the line. He was running like he was on the line. Like I'm not joking. His head was down the whole time, and he was running like he was on the line.
I think when Trey caught the ball, his first thought was feet don't fail me now. They almost did. He almost stumbled, but he collected himself.
And
he got to the 5.
He got so close. I feel like if he had his head up and was running a little faster, he could have gotten to that end zone.
And the 16-7 instead of 16-0 might change the complexity of the game just a little bit, but it wasn't meant to be for Millington. But they got another lesson in taking a step forward, and this young team learning how to win, how to process things. Haywood has been building to something special for years. They're tired of losing in the semifinals. They think they had a team this year. They're taking on that tough schedule. I know you ain't gonna like to hear this being a Millington Trojan, but Mumford beating them is now looking more impressive. Mumford is still undefeated right now. They took care of Kingsbury in their homecoming game this week. We'll get to the score later. I think they're still scoring on Kingsbury as we speak. But they did a solid job. Brighton is doing better. They only lost 21-14 to a good White Station team on the road. They're getting better. They will play each other on the 17th, Mumford and Brighton, come down the road. So these young teams are getting better, but these experienced teams are trying to separate themselves. Another team that could separate themselves in a good way, Tipton Rosemark Academy. Picked up a big win over their rivals Fayette Academy this week to go to 4-3. They're winning the right games to get them a good seeding. And they got Mr. Fullen, who is putting up the numbers like he'd be heading back to Nashville. This time he's going to be bringing back the trophy as Mr. Football. Knock on wood, Lord's willing, and keep that pace going. So teams are starting to separate themselves. But we saw a class act team in Haywood, and check out my highlights from the game.
Chad Blanche on the beat.
back with our third segment, our sights and sounds. Speaking of sounds, it's always awkward when you go to a high school venue and they have outdoor sports and they have a couple games going on simultaneously. One game might start and this thing called the national anthem might be performed or played, and your game is already underway. You're like, what's the protocol there? Do you stop your game to some? If your official served in our U.S. military, he's stopping the game, and he's going to make in the middle of a play to make sure we serve the country properly. In this case, when TRA Middle School, who was celebrating their homecoming, kicked out the national anthem for one of their football games, we're in the middle of the soccer game with Millington and the Lady Rebels. And a couple of people on the sideline stood up and observed. I think you observed it for a minute to get back to the game. So how you feeling,
Because at first I didn't know if we were still moving because I saw players stop moving.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Then I saw them moving. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. What's the referee
No,
like?
but I
Keep
mean,
going.
everybody's just like, okay. I was like, okay, we'll play the game. I mean, I was having a good time. I was chatting with the players,
Yeah.
just being silly, goofy. I had a good time.
And they were having fun with the
Yeah,
game,
it was
a
fun.
local rivalry. It's a game just to get better. It's you're not league rivals or anything like
Also, all the screaming on the pitch, right? They call
that.
it
Yeah,
the
it's the
pitch.
pitch.
I didn't know if that was a British term or not.
It is European, but it's called pitch.
Right. There's so much screaming from Tamia Duckworth. Oh my gosh, that girl can scream.
She's a verbal leader.
Always screaming the whole entire time. I'm like,
She's the coach on.
wow.
She's the coach on the field.
Yes, she is.
And speaking of Coach Everson, the head coach for Millington, great guy. He called me Fred Warner with a camera. And being a 49 fan, that means a lot. I don't have the aura of Fred Warner, but for someone to think that my physicality puts you in my Fred Warner,
It doesn't.
So I'm gonna be over here for a minute, just deeply.
Please, if you see this man in public, do not glaze him. Do not make him.
Glaze?
Yeah, you're glazing. The people are glazing you when they call you that.
Some of those young people.
Yeah, it is.
But people were glazing the TRA seniors, and you got caught up in the moment there when they were hugging the girls and saying goodbye to them. And Harry Simmons, the coach, also the owner of Harry's in Millington. Great Italian food. Go check it out. And Olympic steak and pizza. Great breakfast menu, everything. So I'm not trying to give him a free plug, but I am. But great guy, and we saw him get emotional. And that's when it hits you, because you know Mr. Harry for a long time, and they hit you some kind of way.
Yeah, especially talking about like getting my diploma, and then him hugging me and like saying he was proud of me, and especially like during the interview when he was like, oh, I need a second. I was like, oh my gosh, like it hurts. It hurts so bad to see this. Like, I can't I'm not gonna express how I feel when men cry, but when men cry, they're really in pain, So
or it's joy, real joy.
Yeah, so that's why it hits me a little harder, because I know that they feel like somber, sadness, and all that stuff. So.
Well, we go from a bittersweet moment to a happy moment that following night. We head to the football game, Haywood Millington, and this lady Trojan right here, class of 21, is around a bunch of people from the class of 1985, Back to the Future.
Yeah, a lot of old people.
Whoa. They still getting around good. They're in their late 50s, but they getting around good. They looking good.
Y'all are old.
But here's the connection that she has with them. A lot of them, I guess at the time, the band was the stud around Millington.
I don't even get why so many people were talking about the band.
The band was really good. They sent a lot of people D1.
Nobody cared about us in high school.
The lady that we were talking to, Beth Hill, she went D1. She played at Tennessee in the band, so they went D1 back then.
No, they were they kept hyping up the band. They were like, the band. I was like, y'all like the band now?
Yeah, the class president, Lisa Perry, now Lisa Timberlake. So I guess she was the first Timberlake to make good music in Millington.
She was class president and she was in band.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
See, in middle school, the cool kids was in band, and then when they got to high school, they were like, this isn't cool, and they stopped doing it.
But not in the 80s, apparently.
Yeah, I guess the cool kids were in band.
But then former Alderman Millington, Jimmy Pike, was part of that graduating class, and we got to send a shout out to Miss Rebecca Fears, who just retired after 31 years at Millington. She was part of the class of 85. So they were out there having fun. I think they had a lot of fun last night, Saturday, at the Holiday Inn. I hope they didn't have too much fun. But
Miss Fears was also my French teacher supervisor, because we had an in-person class my sophomore year
Yeah.
in French, and then she disappeared. She left us because the students were like not nice to her. Like the teenage boys were being teenage boys to her, and she just couldn't handle that because I was top 3 of my French class.
Okay.
Read flex, but she left,
Oui.
and then we went to this like online program, and Miss Fierce was the like supervisor of us. So.
But I think Miss Spears proves that some people do come back home to make it better, and she
A lot of people come back home.
Yeah, but she's definitely an example. She's been on the Millington Education Foundation, a lot of boards. So even with the knuckleheads, she wants them to have the best chance to learn. So we want to give a shout out to the class of '85. And before we throw it to the highlights, I want to mention that I also did a doubleheader at TRA early in the week. Part of my Sights and Sound was that FACS game against the Lady Rebels on the pitch. Then I drove over to the gymnasium to catch 2 area teams, the Brighton Lady Cardinals and the Lady Rebels on the court. And Lady Cardinals swept them in 3, and let's see how they did. Close out this week. Wait, have y'all been hearing the highlights? Some of that music sound new. I gotta send a shout out to my brother Chad Blunt. He sent us a couple new beats, and then we got one more to debut. We just played the epic one that is an old throwback, but I hope you're enjoying the music. And hey, Kadarius, appreciate what you're doing, hooking us up, man, keeping us sounding good. Part of our Sights and Sounds here at Everybody Has A. So we get into the Power of 10 for this week, going into week 8, Dynamic Physical Therapy. Thank you once again for making this the Dynamic West 10 Media Power of 10. And we jump in with number 10, back into our top 10 after a week off. St. Benedict, they're 3-3. They have a showdown with St. George's. So it should be a saintly, heavenly matchup between St. Benedict and St. George's. And they will play at St. George's this week. Number 9, Tipton Rosemar, aforementioned 4-3. They will welcome Middle Tennessee Christian to town after picking up a 49-13 win over Fayette Academy. They're hoping to get things rolling and get a winning record. They win this week, they will have a winning record for the season. At number 8, St. George's at 5-2. They welcome St. Benedict for a showdown. So can St. Benedict prove that this is not a fluke, that they're really ready to take that next step? St. George is trying to validate their 5-2 record. Number 7, MUS, they took a tough loss at Brentwood Academy, 35-0. Drops them in our Power 10. They will next take on Memphis Central. Number 6, Briarcrest, picking up an overtime win over Christian Brothers, which dropped them out of our top 10. We knew it was going to be a good game, 24-17, Briarcrest over Christian Brothers. Now Briarcrest will take on Liskin Academy. Now we get into our top 5. At 6-1, the Arlington Tigers. They took care of Cordova, 35-7. And their next matchup would be at Houston. But this Houston team is playing better and starting to get some things rolling in their direction. So it won't be a gimme. Don't look at the records. It's going to be a good game. At number 4, their first loss of the season, the Germantown Red Devils. They're now 6-1. They went down to DeSoto Central, took one upside the head, 44-28. They've been playing a tough schedule. It might get you eventually.
Maybe they were just off that night.
Could be. You make that trip down there to DeSoto Central, and you know the big stadiums they got down there in Mississippi, big crowds, and they want to beat the Tennessee team, so they play with a little extra motivation. The Red Devils try to bounce back against White Station. And now our top 3. Jumping up to number 3, the 5-2 Collierville Dragons. 61-0 win over Craigmont for their homecoming. So it was a night of celebration for them. And Lausanne, that is the easiest game on their schedule this year. They jump right back into the fire against Lausanne, quality team. And at number 2, 6-0. After their homecoming win, 57-0 over Kingsbury, the Memphis Cougars. And they have a game against Overton coming up. They get a little breather before they take on their rivals, Brighton. Then they welcome Germantown in a big game. And so that's the number 2 team that we have right now, the Memphis Cougars. And at number 1, and no reason to take them for number 1 because they're 7-0. And they're beating up on everybody. The Covington Chargers took care of Bolivar Central 62-7. Somebody actually scored on them. So Covington is steamrolling, and now they take on Dyersburg to try to hold on to their number 1 spot. That's our Dynamic Physical Therapy top 10 going into week 8. So any final thoughts from you, Tuli?
No, I don't have any final thoughts.
Well, we're going to relax and chill because our 49ers did pick up a big overtime win over the rival Rams. The Tigers took care of business against Tulsa yesterday. So our football fandom is actually in a good place right now. We're just going to relax a little bit and then get ready for a week of postseason play for the girls. And these young men get into the stretch run on the gridiron, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on up there at state and golf and all that good stuff. And then we'll try to get back here and report some of the good news to you. But until the next time, enjoy the Liyah's Lens and
also,
check out.
like, comment, and subscribe.
And yeah, and give
Hit the notification.
And give Chat Below a shout out on those new beats. Tell us how you like them. So enjoy.
Chat line on the beat.